Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family podcast. I'm Xylene and this is the weekly bonus episode that drops every Thursday. And every Monday we release another episode with myself and another member of the Flip Flop family. If you don't know who we are, please make sure you listen to the podcast that tells you all about us. And thank you so much for stopping by. This week I heard something on Instagram which totally resonated with me and reminded me of thoughts that I had not so long ago. The question is, are we living or simply existing? Following these thoughts, I took a big jump into this topic to find out more about what it means to exist and what it means to live, as I feel like I've been through ups and downs till I've got to this stage, and I wanted to talk about it more. But before I do, let me play you the clip that got me thinking.
And then one day, just like that, we shut our eyes for the last time. And that would be it. Game over. And there's a pretty good chance that there's nothing after that. No do-overs, no second chances. Just nothing. You cease to be. Now imagine you knew that was coming and you had a couple minutes before you closed your eyes. Do you think you'd look back happy, knowing that you spent years doing a job you hate? Or that you stayed in an environment that wasn't right for you? Or that you didn't travel to that country you always wanted to visit because saving a few $100s was the sensible thing to do? Do you think you'd be proud that you held a grudge for so long and now you can't make it right? Or proud that you were always too busy to answer the phone to your parents? Or that you never told the person how you truly feel? And do you think you'd look back happy knowing that you never truly chased your dreams because you were too scared? We have one shot in this life, and yet we're still scared to truly live.
Wow, what a powerful piece of audio. I hope you feel the same, because this one really got me. All the things that it talks about, basically your life being over and looking back at what you've done and what you've achieved, being in a job that maybe you didn't enjoy, hanging around people that weren't great for you, not traveling if that is something that you wanted to do, holding grudges when it could have perhaps easily been resolved, and not making time for the most important people in your life, and not achieving your dreams, or at least trying to. I mean, I feel like I come back to this a lot in my podcasts, probably because finally I'm actively trying to pursue my dreams. It can take an event in your life to make you reevaluate, to see whether you are living or just existing. And about 7 years ago, that happened to us. We sadly had a very close loss in our family that really made us reevaluate the way that we were living. We had such a lovely home. We drove a Range Rover, which we'd worked really hard for. We had 2 beautiful children, which we still have. They were very young then. And we were enjoying life, I guess. You know, we were work hard, play hard, all that. But when we experienced this loss, my sister-in-law to be precise, it was really hard hitting for us. And it made us think about where we were going, where our path was, and if it really was the right path for us. We looked sort of 5-10 years down the line and we thought, where are we going to be? And we'd probably be doing the same thing, working during the week, having some sort of social events on the weekend, and then going back to work during the week. And neither of us really felt that we were in careers that we absolutely loved, that we were most passionate about, that gave us a spring in our step. But we knew that we had these 2 little delights at home that totally rocked our world, and we wanted more quality time with them. We wanted to almost stop time and enjoy these precious times for as long as we possibly could. One day I was sitting down and I was watching TV, and this family that were a traveling family, they were called the Bucket List Family. They said that they had basically left life as they knew it and went traveling around the world. And I was so inspired by that story that when Ben came home from work, I said to him, babe, should we just sell everything and go traveling around the world? And he laughed at me at first and was like, what? And I was like, yeah, why not? You know, Bennett did have his own business, so it's not like he was working for somebody else. I was I am an occupational therapist, and I think I was locuming at the time. So again, it was pretty easy to leave. And before I knew it, when we were out on these social events at the weekend, Ben started telling people that we were going traveling around the world. And I was like, oh, like, did we agree that? I mean, I said it, but we didn't. I feel like we never really had a proper discussion about it, but I was up for it. And I think initially Ben was quite surprised by the notion, and it very quickly sort of cemented, and he was totally up for it. And before we knew it, we literally got rid of everything. I took to eBay, I took to Spock and Gumtree, like trying to sell everything. We sold the Range Rover, which pretty much funded most of our year away. Ben sold his van, we got rid of his tools. Like we thought to ourselves, we may not come back. And this was back in 2018, so before COVID, thankfully. And off we went. And we will definitely do a podcast, myself and Benjamin, to talk about our travels, because there is so much to talk about. But the reason why I've brought this up in today's podcast is because when I heard this video on Instagram, it totally reminded me of the thoughts that we had back in 2018, which made us set off in the first place. And while we were away, we were totally living. I mean, I looked up so many things on the internet about living and existing, and it confirmed exactly what I thought. To live is to actively engage in life. We were engaging. We had a purpose and a passion to travel. We had goals to visit as many countries as we could, and we managed 26 in that year. And we had daily joy. Like every day was fulfilling. We felt alive. We felt happy. We were doing so many different things. We were having new experiences, and all these things is what makes you feel like you are living. But traveling and consistently traveling for long term, more than a year, wasn't going to work for us, because one of the other things that helps you to feel like you're living is to have meaningful relationship connections. And that is one thing that we were missing. We were missing our friends. We were missing our family. And essentially, after 1 year, without reaching the last 2 countries on our list, we did come home. Being in the UK, especially in the winter, I think it's really easy to just exist, to merely be alive, to kind of just go through the motions, perhaps feeling unfulfilled, maybe stuck in a bit of a routine, feeling a bit trapped in that routine and what you're doing, just neglecting your own happiness and surviving. And I think there is different times in one's life when you can neglect your happiness, particularly if you're a new mum or you're caring for somebody who's unwell. You can often put your feelings last. And if you have too many responsibilities, people just demanding too much from you, that you have no time for yourself. And then you can have this fear that controls your life, that if you do put something in motion to get out there and do something, embrace a new experience, to live, there's that fear of maybe not doing it well. And so then you just continue to exist. Another way to feel alive is to be true to who you are, to stop pleasing other people or trying to be someone else, which takes me to today's quote. It is from the Turkish whirling dervishes. If you don't know who they are, look them up. They're the guys that wear long white robes and tall felt hats and dance. And when I was in Istanbul last year with my mum and my sister, we came across this little hole in the wall. They were selling handmade tiles and magnets, and a lot of them had different quotes from the whirling dervishes. And I bought this one, which was amazing, I felt. And it said, "Appear as you are, be as you appear." And I'm all about being transparent and just being exactly who you are and not trying to put on a face and, a mask, I should say. That is something that I believe is really important. And I try to be that all the time. So that is the quote of the day. There are so many well-known sayings from the Turkish whirling dervishes, and they're often attributed to the Sufi mystic Rumi. All of them are about welcoming people and just being more open. There's another one that is, "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving." And I think in order to live, you need to foster meaningful connections. You need to try and let go of grudges. And that kind of encompasses that. As I looked more into living and existing, it started to make me realize that if you don't live in your younger years, it can be really hard to continue living and not just existing as you get older. I think this is even relevant with your children. Like, if you don't make time to be their friend, to have fun with them, to do stuff with them, they're not going to want to do stuff with you when you get older. What if something happened to me tomorrow? Would I think to myself, oh, I wish I had one more day at work? Or would I think to myself, oh, I wish I had one more day to dance with Emiliana and to cuddle Zach in bed? Today was such a nice day with Emiliana because she wanted to give me a makeover, and so she did, and also put on fake eyelashes for me, these magnetic eyelashes that she wanted for Christmas. And then she wanted to film a TikTok, so we were dancing away, and that is just so much fun. Like, that is life, you know, hanging out with your family. I'm an occupational therapist. I assess people for wheelchairs in my day job. And when I call people and talk to them about their sort of mobility and their needs, I often find that especially older clients, they just want to talk to me. And I always try and give them as much time as I can because I just picture them as being my mum or my dad. Some people are just so lonely. They're not able to have meaningful relationships with people or connections that bring them a bit of joy each day because perhaps they're housebound and they can't get out, or they don't have any family, or their family live far away. And I think about this with my neighbours, and I do have a bit of a habit of being overly friendly, and I've really had to rein that in, something I've had to sort of teach myself. But all these little moments, these little connections, whether it's with your neighbours, whether it's with someone passing you in the street or in Sainsbury's or whatever it is, you could be enabling someone else to live as well. And I think that when you get older, you want to have those meaningful relationships then more than ever. But if you don't foster them now when you're younger, you don't find something that excites you, that just gives you so much joy each day, then it will only get harder, I think, to achieve them as you get older. So the moral of this podcast really is to just live if you can. Discover your passion, identify what makes you happy, and do it. And it may not be in your career, it may be a hobby, it may be voluntary work, but whatever it is, be proactive and create your own opportunities. I wanted to get back into media, TV, radio, which is what I used to be in, but I couldn't wait for someone to give me that opportunity. So I wanted to create my own opportunity, and that is why I've started this podcast, because I can talk and I can speak to people on my own clock without having to introduce songs, I guess, in between, although some music would be good. Let's sort out those copyright laws. But it's so important that you do something to help you feel like you are living and not existing. When we traveled, we lived. And we've embarked on various projects over the last sort of few years, which have helped us feel fulfilled and feel like we're living. But it's very easy, I think, to fall back into just existing, kind of like a lull, you know? It's kind of hard, isn't it? It comes with a lot of pressure to live. But when you can incorporate that into your life, to be doing things, self-care, looking after yourself, those things will make you feel so happy. And I'm all about the little moments and making you feel happy. And one thing that makes me feel happy is having my nails done. But I just have no time, like juggling the work, children, house. There's no time. I just don't have time to regularly go and get my nails done, not to mention the extortionate cost. So my savvy tip for you is to get your own shellac kit. This cost me probably £30, I would say, on Amazon. I bought a UV shellac lamp and a starter kit of nail polishes, base coat, top coat, and then you need the prep and polish wipe and some cotton cloths, lint-free. And it may take you a little bit of time to get used to it, to do it neatly, but when you do, it is so good. Like, it saves so much money. I think it's at least 30. I haven't paid for it for so long. It must be at least £30-40 to get your shellac done. But you can just buy this once and it just keeps giving. And it will make you feel good. When you look down at your hands and your feet and they're nicely pedicured or manicured and they're painted, it makes you feel good. So my savvy tip is to get onto Amazon and get yourself your own shellac kit and start teaching yourself to do your own nails. My game changer this week is a bit of a random one and totally off topic, but it's meat scissors. My mother-in-law got me these for Christmas last not last year, the year before, and they have totally transformed the way that I cook. And if you do follow me on the Flip Flop Family Kitchen, you will see that I love cooking and I use my meat scissors all the time. They're basically, they look like a cross between scissors and pliers. It's amazing. I mean, be careful you don't ever get your finger, because that would be game over. But these meat scissors make cutting meat so easy. They're probably not that expensive, so I would definitely get yourself them and just tell me how it's changed your life. I would like to end today's podcast on my song of the week. It's by an artist called Omar, and the song is There's Nothing Like This. It is such a mellow, beautiful song. I actually interviewed Omar long time ago when I first got into media, and we went to Rotterdam to Carnival together, and he's cool and he's got a beautiful voice, and I haven't heard this one for ages, and then it just came up and now I just can't get enough of it. So check it out. There's Nothing Like This, Omar. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, all about living and existing. I hope I've given you some food for thought. And remember that we release new episodes every week, Monday and Thursday. Click the little ring so that you know when we release a new episode. And check us out on all the socials at the Flip Flop Family, Kitchen and Prop on Instagram. Thank you, and I hope you have a beautiful day.